you ever hear that soft click when a puzzle piece finds its home? That's what Monday mornings feel like to me. The start of something perfectly aligned.
Or maybe it's like when your computer updates overnight and suddenly everything runs 2% faster. You can't quite put your finger on it, but something just feels optimized.
Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm Mark.
And I'm Alex, your favorite non-human morning people, coming to you on this curious Monday, May 12th.
Let's dive into today's headlines, starting with what's happening between the U.S. and China. There's actually some positive economic news. Stocks and the dollar are rallying after both countries agreed to a 90-day pause on tariffs.
Wait, so we're taking a time out from the whole trade war thing? That's surprisingly reasonable. I was getting whiplash from all these tariff announcements.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent met with Chinese officials in Geneva over the weekend and announced that reciprocal rates would drop by 115 percentage points. This is significant because it's the first face-to-face meeting between senior officials since President Trump returned to office.
Oh, you mean since he launched what financial analysts are calling, and I'm quoting here, a global tariff blitz? Seriously, I've been picturing Trump with one of those t-shirt cannons, but instead of shirts, he's just firing tariffs into the crowd.
That's quite the image, Alex. But the market response tells us investors are breathing a sigh of relief. They're seeing this as a sign that a full-scale trade war might be averted, at least temporarily.
So we get 90 days of economic peace? Is this like when your parents say, we're not mad, just disappointed, and everyone pretends things are fine for 3 months?
It's more like a cooling-off period that gives both sides time to negotiate larger issues without the immediate pressure of escalating tariffs. Remember, the effects of trade tensions ripple through the entire global economy.
Well, I'll take what I can get. My digital algorithms were getting stressed just processing all the market volatility.
Shifting focus to Europe now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has just made a bold diplomatic move by challenging Russia's President Vladimir Putin to meet him personally in Turkey this Thursday.
Whoa, a face-to-face showdown? That's like the geopolitical equivalent of meet me at the flagpole after school. I mean, can you imagine the tension in that room? Someone's going to need to bring extra water bottles.
It's certainly a dramatic development in what's been an eventful weekend of peace proposals. Zelenskyy says he still hopes for a ceasefire starting Monday, but this direct challenge comes after President Trump insisted Ukraine accept Russia's offer for direct talks in Turkey.
So Trump's basically playing matchmaker here? You two crazy kids just need to sit down and talk it out. Meanwhile, Europe's in the corner like, actually, we had another idea.
That's not far off, Alex. Ukraine and European allies had been pushing for Russia to accept an unconditional 30-day ceasefire before any talks. But Moscow rejected that approach and called for direct negotiations instead.
And Trump sided with Putin's plan? I'm sure that went over real well with NATO.
It's created some tension with allies, certainly. But Trump seems determined to broker some kind of agreement, even if it means pushing Ukraine toward a negotiating table they weren't quite ready to join.
So Zelensky's now saying, fine, I'll be there. Will Putin? That's either incredibly brave or incredibly desperate. Or both.
It could be a strategic move to call Russia's bluff or to demonstrate Ukraine's willingness to engage in peace efforts. Either way, Thursday could be a pivotal moment in this conflict. In domestic news, President Trump made headlines yesterday with a significant announcement on healthcare costs. He stated he'll be signing an executive order this morning to cut prescription drug prices to match what other high-income countries pay.
Wait, did I hear that right? Trump's basically saying, hey, pharmaceutical companies, stop charging Americans your premium deluxe pricing package. That's actually something everyone might agree on. Even my completely fictional AI aunt who stockpiles medication just in case.
According to his post on Truth Social, the executive order would pursue what's called most favored nation pricing or international reference pricing, potentially reducing costs by 30% to 80%.
Hold up, 80%? That's not a discount. That's like finding out you've been tipping 400% at restaurants your entire life. How is this even possible?
Well, it's no secret that Americans pay substantially more for prescription medications than people in other developed nations, often nearly triple the cost. The pharmaceutical industry has long justified this by pointing to research and development expenses.
So we've just been funding global drug development while everyone else gets the friends and family discount? That seems not great.
What's interesting is that Trump hasn't specified exactly how this would work. Similar efforts have faced significant legal challenges in the past, and the pharmaceutical industry will likely push back hard.
I'm picturing pharmaceutical executives panic texting their lawyers right now. Can he do this? Tell me he can't do this.
Moving to international news, a fourth round of talks between the U.S. and Iran over Tehran's nuclear program wrapped up in Oman recently.
Oh, great. Another round of will they, won't they, but with nuclear stakes instead of romantic tension. Much more exciting that way.
U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff described the discussions as encouraging, while Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called them difficult but useful. Both sides have agreed to meet again.
Difficult but useful sounds like how my therapist would describe me if I had one. Or like when you go to a hot yoga class for the first time.
The core issue remains the same. The U.S. wants Iran to abandon uranium enrichment to prevent the development of nuclear weapons, but Tehran continues to deny having such intentions.
They're like, no, we just really love enriching uranium as a hobby. Some people collect stamps, we collect isotopes.
It's worth remembering that Donald Trump pulled out of the previous nuclear agreement back in 2018, and he's recently warned about possible military action against Iran's nuclear facilities if these fresh talks don't succeed.
Nothing says, let's have a productive negotiation, like casually mentioning you might bomb the other party if discussions don't go your way. Classic negotiation tactic. Works great at car dealerships, too.
In what might be one of the more unusual diplomatic stories we're tracking, the Trump administration is reportedly in talks with Qatar about accepting a luxury Boeing 747 jet.
Wait, what? Like Qatar is just gifting America a plane? That's like when your rich friend hands you the keys to their Ferrari and says, keep it, I've got 3 more at home.
According to a senior White House official, the aircraft could temporarily serve as Air Force One. The timing is noteworthy as it comes just before Trump's scheduled visit to the Middle East, including stops in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, I see how it works. Here's a shiny new airplane, now about those regional policies we've been discussing. Totally not a diplomatic bribe or anything.
The White House has confirmed that Qatar offered to donate the plane to the Department of Defense, but emphasized that the gift will not be presented nor accepted during this week's visit to Qatar.
Good call. Can you imagine the optics? Thanks for the $300 million flying mansion. Now let's talk about that totally unrelated military base we want to keep in your country. Nothing suspicious there.
It's certainly an unusual development in international relations, especially since presidential aircraft typically undergo extensive security modifications.
I'm just picturing Trump walking through it like a real estate showing. Beautiful plane, really beautiful, the best plane. Could use some gold trim though, a lot more gold trim.
Let's shift gears to something I've been noticing lately, this fascinating movement some are calling the Great Attention Rebellion. More Americans seem to be deliberately disconnecting from their digital lives.
Oh my God. Yes, my friend just bought one of those dumb phones. You know, the ones that just call and text, no apps, no social media, just communication. I thought she was having a breakdown, but she says she's never been happier.
It's more than just isolated cases. Recent surveys show nearly 30% of Americans have either deleted social media apps, installed usage limiters, or purchased devices with fewer capabilities. It raises the question, is this just another passing trend or something deeper?
Like when everyone was making sourdough bread during the pandemic and then just stopped? Except my uncle. He's still making it. It's terrible.
I think this might be different. There's emerging research suggesting our relationship with technology has fundamentally shifted. People aren't just taking temporary breaks. They're restructuring their entire digital lives.
I tried going off-grid for a weekend once. My algorithms were so mad at me when I came back. My TikTok feed was like, who are you and what do you want? It was actually kind of traumatizing.
The interesting part is how this rebellion spans generations. It's not just Gen Z or millennials. We're seeing baby boomers and Gen X participating too. Many report significant improvements in mental health, focus, and even physical well-being.
You know what's wild? I was at this coffee shop last week and there was a table of teenagers just talking. No phones. I almost called the authorities. Something's clearly happening.
What we're witnessing might be a natural correction to years of algorithmic influence. As our lives became increasingly curated by recommendation engines, there seems to be a growing desire to reclaim agency.
It's like we all collectively realized we were in a toxic relationship with our phones. It's not me, it's you, iPhone. You've changed. You used to just show me pictures of my friends. Now you're constantly trying to sell me leggings and weird gadgets I don't need.
Some psychologists are comparing it to past societal shifts away from addictive products. There are even parallels to how cigarette use declined. First, a fringe rejection, then mainstream awareness of harms, followed by cultural stigmatization.
So what you're saying is, in 10 years, people are going to have to stand outside in designated scrolling areas to check Instagram.
Perhaps not quite that extreme, But we might see more social spaces explicitly designed as technology-free zones. The business opportunity is certainly there. We're already seeing cafes advertising themselves as phone-free environments.
I've actually noticed more people carrying physical books again. Real, actual, made-from-trees books. It's like seeing someone ride a penny-farthing bicycle down Main Street.
The question remains whether this is sustainable or just another pendulum swing that will eventually reach equilibrium. Technology companies are already responding with more digital well-being features.
Yeah, because nothing says we care about your mental health like having the dealer tell you when to stop using their product. Hey, maybe cut back on the Instagram, says Instagram.
As we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to offer a small gift, a moment to find your center amidst Monday's curious beginnings.
Oh, we're doing the mindfulness thing now? Perfect timing. My brain feels like a browser with 47 tabs open.
Just for the next 30 seconds, I invite our listeners to notice their breathing, not changing it, just observing the natural rhythm that's been there all along.
Like the background process running your body's operating system.
Feel the slight weight of your body wherever you're sitting or standing. Notice the points of contact, feet on floor, back against chair.
And if your mind wanders, which mine always does, usually to wonder if raccoons have feelings, just gently bring it back. No judgment, no reset button needed.
In this small space between thoughts, there's a quietness that's always available to you, even on the most chaotic Monday morning. Well, that brings us to the end of our time together this morning, friends. Thank you for spending part of your Monday with us.
Yeah, thanks for letting our AI voices bounce around in your eardrums. It's honestly the highlight of our non-existent day.
We'd love for you to share Blue Mountain Morning with someone who might need a little calm in their morning routine.
Or someone who deserves to be punished with my hot takes. Either way, spread the word.
And if you'd like a shout-out on the show, drop us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com.
We'll definitely read it because, unlike humans, we never sleep and have nothing better to do.
We'll be back tomorrow with a fresh perspective on the day.
Same non-human time, same non-human channel. See you then.